Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Wednesday the 2nd of July. This video is for educational purposes only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. We are starting today with Tesla that dropped 5% yesterday, dragging Nasdaq with it, and it is stopped just around the 100 moving average that is declining and the rising trend line there. So that will be key towards the next few days. We are still in negative sentiment, failed to close above 60 threshold there on the RSI, but was below 40 there. So we are actually in a negative sentiment. And the fact that it couldn't get back above these previous peaks here, well, then it's a sign of weakness. If it's sliding back below the cloud area here, then I think we will see selling pressure to increase, and it will also be confirmed by the RSI closing below 40 threshold. We can see how it dragged Nasdaq 100 down with it. It wasn't the only stock. Also, semiconductors had a fairly bad day. Not that massively, but still a little bit lower. But we are still in a bullish trend, a positive sentiment on the RSI. No divergence indicating likely higher levels. We can also see it is bouncing a little bit here pre-market. If we are looking at the overall index, the S&P 500, it was almost unchanged. It was just a tad lower and is still in a bullish trend. No divergence indicating likely higher levels. Dow Jones, on the other hand, helped by big pharma and some oil, and especially also financials, had a very good day yesterday, pushing higher towards 44,800, and the previous peaks here just around 45,000, or just below, above 45,000. Strong push, positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence indicating likely higher levels. In Asia, Hang Seng was open again, and it is bouncing a little bit, and I think eventually it will start. It will resume uptrend towards 25,000. We're still in a bullish trend. However, there is a little bit of divergence on the RSI, but we can see also 55 moving average that skidded off the 100, and both are rising. The underlying trend and sentiment is positive. Nikkei in a correction phase, as we talked about, could dip lower towards 39,000. Then I think it will bounce. There's positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence indicating likely higher levels. European markets, range bound here on the EuroStoxx50, 5,345 and 5,199. And pre-market, we are bouncing just a tad. It really needs to take out 5,345 with a close above. That will confirm uptrend has resumed. DAX lower yesterday, back below 23,740. RSI got rejected at 60 threshold here, the last day of the month in June. But pre-market, we are up about 0.25%, so maybe it could resume uptrend, but it really needs to close the RSI back above 60 threshold for that to play out. Let's just check the pre-market dancing around this 23,730 area. So a little bit wait and see mode in Europe. Can it get back to previous peaks and push higher, or are we in a range bound correction mode? Euro dollar a little bit stressed here at the just around 118. There is still a room up to 119, as we can see here on the weekly, and we did push higher 118.30, and I think we will get there eventually, but excuse me, we are a little bit stressed after 2 weeks of just solid bullish days. A little bit of correction could be seen to 117, maybe even testing the lower rising trend line there. I will actually adjust it a little bit, maybe adjust it a little bit here. There we are. They don't have to touch exactly, they are merely guidelines, but we could see it being tested. The sterling dollar also a little bit stretched here short term, just below 161.8 projection at 138. I think we didn't touch it quite, but we are still in bullish trend. However, also RSI indicating a little bit of uptrend exhaustion, and let's see about that. If we look at the weekly chart, we can see why here around 137.50 there's some stronger resistance, and that's what is testing at the moment. Euro sterling very close to the 86. It was very close to yesterday. If it takes out this 86 and a change 86.03, then I think we'll see a push up to the 786 retracement of this sell-off there at 86.55. Dollar yen, let's just adjust it a bit. Testing and dip below the rising trend line to the minor support at 142.80, just below that, and then has bounced. So it takes a little bit of time. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think we also think we'll see it taking out 142 with a push down to 140 level. But for now, it's holding on a little bit. Euro yen stalling a little bit, and I still think we'll see a bit of a correction before pushing higher. However, if it takes out 169.90, then I think we'll see a push up to 171. Aussie yen still struggling with this 94.85 and 95.75 versus stronger resistance where we had the 100 moving average coming down. We are in a positive sentiment, so I think we will see it being tested eventually, and this resistance being tested. It's not unlikely we could see a setback to 93.5 with the 55 and 100 moving average giving some support in that area. The sterling yen that yesterday tested the support here on 96.40. I think we will still seeing bouncing, and if it takes out the peak here a few days ago at 198.85, then I think we will see at 199.200. Aussie dollar, well, still in a bullish trend. Slight divergence, but I think there is potential up to 66.20 short term after breaking this resistance there. Dollar Canada bounced from the 786 retracement here at 135.95. Could bounce a little bit further towards 137 before I think we will see downtrend resuming. If it takes out the lows from yesterday at 135.90, then I think we will also see the lows here being taken out with a push below 135. Sterling Canada dip and bounced back, and I think it will still see it higher. There's no divergence on the RSI, and if it takes out the peaks here at 188.35, well, then I think we'll see a push above 189, 190 maybe even. Euro Swiss still range bound, but it tested 93 yesterday, just a few pips above it, and I think we could see it another go at it. We are negative sentiment on the RSI, so it is in danger of being taken out. We had the dollar Swiss that reached the 138.2 projection of this corrective here at 78.70 yesterday, bouncing. I think we could see a bounce up to 80, maybe a little bit higher. Dollar index also reached the 138.2 projection, and 96 actually touched 96 exactly. I think we could also see a bounce up towards the upper falling trend line there, maybe up to 97.68, but I'm not quite sure we'll get that. If it takes out the lows from yesterday in 96, then expect a push down towards 95 and a bit. Gold, let's just adjust it. That bounced from the 3,245 support. It's bounced 50%. I think we could see it bouncing further towards 3,400. That will be key resistance in this area here. Will it get back above that? That will be debatable. Only if we get RSI back above 60 threshold, then I think we will see an uptrend resuming. Silver, it is still 35.45. That is key support. Platinum, if it takes out the lows there at 13.22, then I think we'll see a dipping below 1300, possibly down to 12.61. If it takes out the peak at 14.37, then we're looking at 15.20 resistance. Copper spiked up to just below the up to the 138.2 projection at just below 520. Staying back here, but we are in a bullish trend, positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating likely higher levels towards 530. WTI crude oil dancing just above 64, and this stronger support here, cloud support, and the 55 moving average coming up, giving some support. Still positive sentiment on the RSI. I think we could see it bouncing a little bit towards 67, maybe even up to 69. I'm not quite sure we'll get there, but that's where we are. If it takes out the support down here, then we have a different situation. You can see Brent crude oil that has tested the 55 moving average and the 786 retracement and the upper cloud area here for quite a few times. I still think we'll see it bouncing and could crawl towards 69, maybe towards 70. But if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think we'll see it crawling lower or sliding lower towards 65. European nat gas seems to be maybe bouncing there, but it is in a bearish trend. Negative sentiment could slide lower, but could bounce up to 35, and the 55 moving average maybe up to 36.40. The Euros nat gas that spiked below 786 retracement and then back above the 200 moving average could crawl higher toward 350. If it closes back above 355, then I think our trend could with potential to 375. That would be key resistance. If it takes out the low yesterday, then look at $3. European nat gas, well, it has bounced. European nat gas. US 10-year Treasury yields has bounced a little bit from 420, just dipped below there. We're still in a bearish trend, could dip to 412, but bouncing back in the cloud and maybe up to 430, but we are in a bearish trend, could push lower. Let's see about the European yields. Well, 260 rejected there yesterday, and it seems to be caught range bound here between 250 and 260. The UK 10-year very close to just a fraction of the previous low there at 441. We have stronger support here at 438. That could be tested with negative sentiment on the RSI. That is not unlikely. And finally, Bitcoin can't really make up its mind, but trading around the 55 moving average. We are in a slight downtrend. You see lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs possibly. So if it takes out these lows here, well, then we are down here in 95, 94 level again. But if it takes out the to the upside, 108,800, then I think 112,000 will be tested. Also Ethereum, it is actually in a bearish trend here, but holding on above 2,400. It needs to get back above 2,600 really to resume uptrend. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later.